had been queuing night and day, demanding, pleading for a visa and a ticket for a seat on the United States evacuation planes flying out of Ton Son Nhut Airport.
Vietnam had now fallen to communists. Those who couldn't get out had a difficult decision: stay and live under a communist regime, or risk everything and try to escape.
After the end of the Vietnam War and the fall of Saigon, the capital of the anti-communist South Vietnamese government, chaos ensued. Many in the south resorted to fleeing by boat. In total, there is estimated to be over 800,000 Vietnamese refugees that successfully arrived in another country between the years 1975 and 1995. The death toll, though, varies. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees estimates that between 200,000 and 400,000 boat people died at sea, leaving the mortality rate of the voyage anywhere from 20 to 33%. This is a part of my family that were Vietnamese boat people. My uncle Bác Hong, his younger sister Chum, her husband's brothers, Chum's 1-year-old son, and their 7-year-old brother would embark on a dangerous journey for their hopes for a better life. This is my uncle, Bác Hong. He was 18 during the fall of Saigon. At age 18, my uncle would have been able to go to university, but after the fall of Saigon, since his father, my grandfather, was a part of the South Vietnamese army, he was prohibited from entering university. He also talks about the overreaching control of the new government.
Suddenly you see like the company I told you, the control the people. Where you go, what you do. At the beginning, when they just took over, every mass had the police sit in the back. Some church, in the middle of the church, they come take the priest away.
I was also lucky enough to get an interview with a then 7-year-old brother who was the youngest survivor of Bác Hong's boat out of Vietnam.
Hi, Dad. How you doing?
My family started off here, in Ho Chi Minh City, also known as Saigon. My family had first been housed by fishermen before they escaped. They then took 2 small boats along the channels in the Mekong Delta, sailing closer and closer to the sea. Once they finally got to the final boat and left the country, they thought they were finally safe, until they were spotted by Vietnamese soldiers. The passengers rushed to the lower levels of the boat as soldiers fired upon the boat. However, since they had left during the summer, there was a storm that helped save them.
And head out to the sea where we hit the storm, and the storm is, I think it's like typhoon. The boat up and down like a roller coaster. You know, water would splash inside the boat. I was drinking salt water. It's very rough. It's rough enough that the Vietnamese Coast Guard turned around and said, hey, this is not safe.
This is an approximate timeline of my family's boat out of Vietnam. As you can see, the times near the bottom of the calendar reflect a range of dates instead of concrete dates because of them losing track of time near the end of their second week at sea. Their time at sea started when they left their final boat from Vietnam, got shot at by the Vietnamese army, and experienced their first storm at sea. They were initially triumphant until there were more storms along the sea, each more powerful than the last. This led to them losing food at sea and losing a sense of direction. At the end of their first week, they had ran out of most of their food, and their engine stopped propelling them. This week is when An Huy, my aunt's son, passed away.
Her son was the youngest. I think he's a year old, less than a year old. No food. Mom had no milk. He passed away. He's the first one to pass away. I remember she tried to save him with what she had, right? She even cut her finger, squeeze out blood to give him fluid so to keep him alive, right? Because there's nothing else you can give. There's no water. I mean, there's nothing out there left, right? And there's no food either. So the next thing is your blood.
My uncle Bác Hong remembers a bit more, saying that she cut her wrists and fingers in order to feed her son before he passed away. My dad also recalls what he had to do on the boat in order to survive.
When you 28 days on the sea, there's no water after 7 days, so people will start to dehydrate, right? And there's no food either, so we look at an alternative way to get water, right? When there rain, they will spray out plastic to capture the water, right? And you save that. Also, we would apply some wood off, the excess wood on the boat. We will burn that seawater to capture the evaporation of the water, and we will save that to drink. Also, we would drink urine. You drink your own urine if you have any urine, and you drink that, right? And then that saves your life.
Into the following week, many children start to die.
So my brother always told me that if no one saved us in the next 2 days, I was at the point that I will be the next person to pass away. So luckily, someone saved us.
Finally, they saw a needle in the distance, and after making a sail from a poncho, they were able to sail to the coast of a Chinese island. They were fed kanji, a humble rice porridge, which was their first meal in weeks. They were then transported to Hong Kong for a year to live in a refugee camp. And then, after getting sponsored by the St. Louis Catholic Archdiocese, they flew to America on St. Patrick's Day, 1982. Many boat people's escape from Vietnam looked very different. From the places they left in Vietnam, to the challenges they faced on the boat, to the places they arrived in and when they finally settled, everyone's story is different. This is just one of the many stories of the Vietnamese boat people.